Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olaride. The Economic Community of West African States says Senegal's President Macky Sall has made it very clear that he will be leaving office when his term ends in April. President Omar Toure was responding to questions that Mr. Sall might not quit when his term expires during an ECOWAS briefing in Abuja. President Sall announced he would step down at the end of his term in April following a row of the postponement of elections. On Thursday, he also said his departure date was absolutely firm. However, according to media reports, the National Dialogue Commission, which he set up, is calling for him to stay in office until elections potentially hold in June.
On Senegal, as we said in the communique, the President of Senegal has indicated that he will leave office on the 2nd of April, and I have not seen any indication that he has changed that. So this is ECOWAS's understanding. The information you just quoted, I am not privy to that, apart from, of course, some press, some news reports. But His Excellency President Macky Sall made it very clear during the summit that he is leaving. His term ends on the 2nd of April, and he will leave office on 2nd of April. We all need to raise is, can we do business if there is no peace and security? Can our people move freely in the sub-region if there is no peace and security? Can we enjoy the ECOWAS trade liberalization schemes if there is no peace and security? So in our perspective, in as much as we would like to focus on trade, economic and other issues, we need a degree of stability to be able to focus on those. And this is why the leaders have found it important to address peace and security. Without peace and security, you can't do anything. So it would be really difficult for ECOWAS to focus only on economic integration when insecurity threatens our stability.
In South Africa, a university student has been killed and another seriously injured by stray bullets after unknown gunmen shot dead 2 men in a parked car on a busy street near the center of the South African city of Johannesburg. Police say the students had been caught in the crossfire and got hit when their bus was passing the scene of the shooting. According to crime statistics in the country, between July and September 2023, an average of 34 people were shot dead every day in South Africa. Now, witnesses to these killings in broad daylight said they were shocked by what happened. In the meantime, no arrests have been made so far. Economist Makwe Masilela is warning that the implementation of the National Health Insurance Bill in South Africa may necessitate substantial hikes in personal income tax and increased value-added tax. Masilela advises the government to proceed cautiously, ensuring they do not drive South African taxpayers to emigrate or to discourage workforce participation, which could also deter foreign direct investment. The bill currently awaits President Cyril Ramaphosa's approval after being passed by both the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces.
National health insurance is very important and necessary for this country because it's only fair that we all have access to good health care system. But just like any other thing, we need to have the money to be able to fund it. As it stands, we all know that our economy is not doing that great. We know that the fiscus is not working okay. And then the government, we've just seen over the last budget, they are also trying by all means to lessen their borrowings. Hence, they cut into our reserve from the Reserve Bank. So the question here continues to be affordability. And then one thing is to see how creative the guys will be, to get money. And we hope they don't do anything that will chase away the current taxpayers or potential investors going forward.
South Africa's provincial government in KwaZulu-Natal has announced plans to build a new palace for the Zulu monarch king Misusu Zulu Kazwelithini. The KwaZulu-Natal Premier Nomusa Dube Nkumbe made the announcement during her State of the Province address. She says she was encouraged by the cordial relations between her government and the Zulu king. The plan for a new palace is in line with Zulu customs that dictate that the king's residence should not be in his late father's palace. Now, this comes amid a continued legal battle challenging the king's legitimacy. Now, for all energy fuel sources required across generation of time, Africa has always had an abundant supply of its resource base. Despite this, however, it has remained the most energy-deprived continent in terms of its derivative access to energy. Now, this is according to the Ghanaian Minister for Energy, Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Mr. Prempeh, who spoke exclusively to Channels Television on the sidelines of the ongoing 2024 Nigeria International Energy Summit in Abuja, he goes on to decry the experiences of Africa, describing it as the center of extraction. He also spoke of the role of Nigeria and its gas potential, calling for the use of the gas resources to solve basic problems.
Africa has the fuel sources, the uranium, even in abundance. Oil and gas, recent one, we have it in abundance. About 80% of oil and gas that we extract from Africa doesn't stay in Africa. 100% of the uranium we extract from Africa doesn't stay in Africa. The critical minerals that we need for renewables are bound in Africa. But when you look about Africa's penetration in the renewable energy industry, and look at the investments around the world going into renewable energy, Africa gets less than 1%. So it is not a matter of the fuel sources, because I've demonstrated to you that of all the fuel sources we have, but Africa is the most energy deprived continent, and we have the most highest energy prices in the world. So really, Africa has become a center for extraction. Everything they extract and somebody uses it to their benefit. So I was saying that yes, we have gas. God has blessed us with gas everywhere. Nigeria alone has gas to feed the whole of Africa for years. But let us start thinking about using the gas within Africa, utilizing it within Africa, to improve our energy depravity, to break down the energy resources, to better the environment, and to make sure that the health benefits accrue to our female folk. Because 90% in Africa cooking is done by females. These females are cooking in bad fumes and their kids are behind them. So we actually impact on the next generation. So it's good to have gas, but let's use the gas to solve our basic problems. That if all Nigeria we stop cutting trees and we use gas in eating and doing our activities of daily life, putting it in cars, using it in power generation, the environment is better than using 60%, 70% fuel wood. That is also depriving the air of oxygen and depriving our ability to extract carbon dioxide. So when it comes to the forests, the world's biggest carbon sink is in Africa. So we don't put value on all these things, and even if we do, we have externalized the value. The value is not within Africa. Yeah. So I was trying to position Nigeria as the biggest black African country in the world, with both the human resource and the natural resource, to actually seize the opportunity and lead. For once, lead, so that the black man starts gaining respect everywhere in the world.
A power cut to Ghana's parliament has interrupted a debate on the president's State of the Nation speech. The state-run electricity company of Ghana, ECG, cut the electricity supply over a debt of 3 million Ghanaian cedis, approximately $1.8 million. The chamber employed the use of a backup generator and paid up to 13 million cedis before power was eventually restored. The power company's communications director, William Boateng, explained that it had resorted to disconnecting power because Parliament had consistently refused to honor demand notices. Joy News TV correspondent Maxwell Bagar joins us now from Accra. Hello, Maxwell. Thank you for your time. Do give us more details on yesterday's interruption of the State of the Nation speech at Parliament. We understand members of Parliament and also parliamentary staff who were using the elevator when the abrupt blackout happened were stuck.
Yes, that is true. That was happening, ironically, during the discussions on the State of the Nation address by the President ECOWAS. So the President had delivered his State of the Nation address some days ago. So yesterday, Thursday, the parliamentarians were discussing what the President, read, the statement the President read on the floor of Parliament when there was power outage, in the legislature, that is in Ghana's Parliament. We know that some parliamentarians were stuck in their offices. Some of them were also stuck in elevators. It took the quick intervention of the Ghana National Fire Service to rescue some of the parliamentarians who were stuck in those elevators. Also, we know that the disconnection, the Electricity Company of Ghana tells us, is as a result of a 23 million Ghana cedi indebtedness. Now we are told that the Ghana's parliament has paid an amount of 13 million Ghana cedis out of the 23 million Ghana cedis. And today we are hearing that power has been restored to the legislature. So parliamentarians are going about their normal duties. So as it stands now, today, power has been restored and Parliament is back in regular session. But yesterday, a lot of the activities were cut short abruptly because of the disconnection by the Electricity Company of Ghana. For some time now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has been disconnecting state institutions that owe it. So if you're indebted to the Electricity Company of Ghana, they visit it, and then they visit your institution, and they do not really care whether it's state-owned. They will cut the power supply and demand that you make payments, to them. Recently, we saw power disconnection to Ghana's Accra Sports Stadium, but that was quickly rectified before the Black Queens of Ghana played their Zambian counterparts just some days ago at the Accra Sports Stadium live.
Indeed, it's quite the irony, and this speaks to the economic woes of Ghana. But we'll leave it at that. Maxwell Bagar, Joy News TV correspondent, thank you for your reporting.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Senior officials at the 6th session of the UN Environmental Assembly are calling for action and solutions on the decisions made at the summit. The UNEA is the world's highest decision-making body on the environment and aims to help restore harmony between people and nature. Delegates' focus has also been on multilateral environment agreements and these regional and international accords, some of which are more than 50 years old, have helped to protect endangered species and limit chemical pollution, among other concerns.
There are a total of some 15 decisions that will have quite important implications for how governments may choose to amend their laws to be in compliance with how to manage toxic waste, how to manage and deal with air pollution, how to ensure that you can get healthier people and thereby also having a healthier planet.
An event like this is one such big event because it brings knowledge, it brings awareness. It makes other countries aware of what the rest of the globe is doing. It brings the experiences of many other countries on board and assists all of us to appreciate the problem, to appreciate the progress that has been made, but to also look at what are the gaps and how do we fill the gaps so that we are all moving together.
A tree believed to be more than 150 years old is no longer standing after torrential rains in Uganda brought it down. Located in modern-day Kiambongo University, about 8 kilometers east of the capital Kampala, one of the country's oldest and most historic trees fell during heavy rains. It's believed that the tree was located next to the palace of Kabaka Mutesa I. That's the 30th monarch of the Buganda Kingdom, East Africa's largest traditional monarchy. The king's guests would often await or meet him under the shade of the majestic tree, locally known as Omuwafu. It's believed that the first Europeans to enter Uganda, explorers James Augustus Grant and John Speke, sat under the tree as they waited to meet King Mutesa in 1862. The United Nations Mine Action Service, an integral part of the UN mission in South Sudan, has responded to residents in Amadi in eastern Equatorial State about the suspected presence of explosive remnants of war in their community. Now, they had been prevented from going to their farms due to fear of explosions. Over the last year, deminers have combed through an area the size of 64 football fields, removing several explosive hazards in the process. In February, Anita Gbeho, the recently appointed Deputy Special Rep for Humanitarian Affairs in South Sudan, addressed the team on site. Now, the UN supports the government of South Sudan in fulfilling its international mine action commitments.
The fact that a conflict-affected country has had 70% of its unexploded ordnances somehow destroyed, removed, buried because of these teams that operate throughout this country is something that we need to be thankful for. As foreigners coming here to support South Sudan reach its goals, to consolidate peace, to ensure that civilians are protected, to ensure that there's an environment in which humanitarian assistance can be given. This is significant because your work is the base work. Without you, we don't affect the lives of people.
The mine action and support to the mission also reflects through the activity that we conduct in clearing the roads, clearing the safe areas for the people to build the homes. In this specific case here in Amadi, where we are almost a year working on the task, basically it's not just that we create a safe environment for the people to build the homes now. People expanding, the village is expanding, and we are creating a safe neighborhood. We're clearing the safe path.
We are also grateful for the support that Animis is giving as far as mine clearance and explosive remnants of war is concerned. Because if you see the clearing capacity in South Sudan, 70% is being supported by the Animis, and then other donors also contributed the remaining 30%.
Mina is on top and top. 3 up there, 3 up there, 5 goes to 6.
Well, 11 lions from Sudan have been rescued by Animal Welfare Group, 4 paws, and transferred to the Lions Rock Big Cat Sanctuary in Bethlehem, South Africa. The lions are among 48 rescued from Khartoum, with the organization describing them as weak, emaciated, and prone to injury from the vagaries of war. The large carts were initially evacuated to Wad Medina in November before being moved last month to Jordan for initial treatment.
It was challenging to get them out of the country, definitely. I think so. That's also the other side of the mission, right? Because we were the receiving end. So I wasn't there when they exited. But from what we were told, like firstly, it's also, you know, temperature, climate. It was very, very hot. It was just also difficult to organize means of transport, to get them all there, to get them loaded, to bring them to the borders. I think then they even had like delays with the flights. They are still traumatized, and if you consider they come from a war zone, you know, that's what it is. Like, that's very logical that that's the case. But they get there, you know, they adapt. Luckily, they're still young, so it's not as bad as, let's say, maybe they would be 10 years old. Then it's much, you know, much harder to get this out of your system. But they're still young. It was much worse still a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. We've seen the footage from how they were in Sudan, and then from how they were in Jordan, and then from how they are now. Yeah, as I mentioned, they still have a bit of a way to go, but fingers crossed, we'll get there.
Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. Bright minds from across Africa's technology, innovation and entrepreneurship sectors have come together for the Omniverse to exchange knowledge and collaborate to develop shared solutions. The event was a platform created to harness collective efforts and shape Africa's digital narrative.
It's a fusion of innovation and collaboration with some of the brightest minds in technology, innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship.
The Omniverse, as he strides majestically,
with a focus on generating practical solutions to the challenges faced by communities, the Omniverse aims to foster digital innovation in Africa.
We recognize the potential of Nigeria's digital innovation ecosystem, and we understand that this ecosystem can only grow by breaking down silos and creating strategic win-win partnerships. We co-created this platform as a community and an aggregator of the digital economy for technology, startups, research and academia, regulators, governments, media, and digital innovation ecosystem stakeholders. We're also looking at the ripe opportunities that exist. And as we look at the last 25 years, we see a nation that has overcome a lot of challenges, embraced innovation and creativity, and produced world-class organizations and ecosystems.
Structured around overarching themes of building narratives, inspiring creativity, and fostering collaboration, the ultimate aim is to harmonize efforts, thereby creating a space without boundaries.
We are working hard on platforms to bring in all the ecosystem, all the people, incredible people that we have here in Nigeria, to connect and to really enhance the quality and the outreach of their creativity.
To enable inclusive social, economic and political participation by citizens, international cooperation must harness the potential of digital transformation, mitigate the risks, and play an active role in shaping the transformation in a human-centered way.
An important discussion that comes to light is decoding Africa's digital narrative and bridging the gap in AI representation.
I've been wanting to see Nigerian and African themed effects on the global stage. So seeing that foreigners are using what we are producing, it's a thing of joy. So there's this sense of fulfillment that, yes, this is made in Nigeria, and they have accepted it. They have actually embraced it.
You're capturing every angle of where you are, and that is being stitched together to create that immersive experience. So like America said just now, you're creating emotions, not just by watching, but now you are actually experiencing it. And that can be used for preservation, culture preservation as well.
Budding entrepreneurs also get a chance to showcase their groundbreaking ideas at a startup pitch. With each pitch, these entrepreneurs are closer to turning their dreams into reality and making a meaningful impact in the startup ecosystem. The Omniverse isn't just about individual brilliance. It's about harnessing collective energies to shape the future of African technology.
Finally on the program, in a landmark medical achievement, a Saudi medical and surgical team has successfully completed the separation surgery of Nigerian conjoined twins Hassana and Husseina at the King Abdullah Specialist Children's Hospital in Riyadh. The twins arrived on October 31st, 2023 and underwent comprehensive examinations that revealed shared areas in the lower abdomen, pelvis, lower spine and lower spinal nerves. Well, the surgical team comprised 38 consultants, specialists, technicians and nursing staff in several specialties. Now, this was the 60th procedure for the Saudi program for separating the Siamese twins. Very heartwarming there. And that's it on the program today and for the week. Thank you so much for always watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Have a lovely weekend.